Let's do it. Let's dive into this quarterback talk. If there's anything else you guys wanted to touch on, maybe we'll throw it in at the end. But, I did an episode earlier this week talking about the quarterback stat chart, the official quarterback stats from OTA's day 2 from ESPN Cleveland and Tony Grossi, and just how the division of repetitions was split up between the 4 quarterbacks and all that stuff. So I'm going to step back. You guys, Justin, you kick it off. Just talk about what your takeaways from the week with the quarterback situation, all that kind of stuff.
I don't know what the hell's going on. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, it's very tricky. I'll start off with this. It's very tricky getting a feel of how these guys are doing, because based on who you're listening to or who you're reading, some guys are doing great, some are doing bad. You'll literally change to a different article, and the guys that are doing bad are doing good. It's hard to tell. For me, it's May, right? We're in May. There's a long way to go, right? What I'll say, taking away from what I saw, is I think that we kind of been underselling Joe Flacco a little too much. I think there's a really, really potential chance that Joe Flacco is going to be the starter. And then we'll see how that goes until, it's a brutal schedule. Who knows what happens those first 8 weeks. But, that for me, the quarterback tracker thing, when I saw it, I was like, that's interesting, because, we're not getting any of that stuff. But then, you take 5 seconds, and you're like, how do we even know that, what this is? Is this a situational thing? Is Sheduer throwing all his balls from the 15-yard line, and, some of these other guys are at the 40, or there's just no context with it. I don't think you can look at it and go, well, that's impressive that, that somebody got 3 touchdowns to this, or, completion. But I think it's very hard to take anything good away from the quarterback tracker. I think it just kind of misleads the shit out of you. Honestly, you know what I mean? Because we've seen some of those plays from Sheduer, and one of them was fantastic. The deep ball one, if that one's counted in there, holy shit, that is super impressive. But the other one's 10-yard little dump. It's hard to tell. What I do think, taking away from the last couple of days, is that I think we put a lot of stock into the rookies, or even Kenny Pickett, and which one of these guys we're going to elevate up. I'm getting the vibe that this is Kevin Stefanski and Joe Flacco time, and here come week 1, that's going to be the unit.
This episode is sponsored by Southern New Hampshire University. Browns fans, I can't tell you guys how many people I've known over the years who have missed out on job opportunities simply because they don't have the right degree or even have a degree at all. I mean, these are people who otherwise would have been perfect for the position they wanted, but they got turned away simply because of educational requirements. If you've ever felt stuck in a job you didn't enjoy, or you felt unqualified or unable to advance your career due to your lack of education or experience, heck, maybe you even have a degree, but now you feel like you chose the wrong major, Southern New Hampshire University could be the answer for you. Go to snhu.edu/bark, B-A-R-K, to learn how you can get started today. SNHU has programs in psychology, cybersecurity, computer science, sports management, game development, data analytics, and finance. SNHU is one of the largest online accredited universities in the United States, and their programs are radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. And you might even be eligible for financial aid or have prior college credits that could fast track your degree at SNHU. And because networking is everything, your courses are taught by faculty with real world experience, so you'll have opportunities to connect with people inside the industry. And then when you graduate, SNHU will still be there to help you as you begin your job search. So if you're ready for something new, head over to snhu.edu/bark and learn how you can get started working toward your new career today.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if you are a big CBD fan, the way they kind of describe it is it's Kenny Pickett's job to kind of lose. Flacco's, break the glass in case of emergency, and then you grinding out the rookies to see what they got. As far as the QB tracker and the stats, get me a matchbook and a stick of dynamite, blow it up, because I don't take anything to it. Biggest thing is you hit the nail on the head with the word context.
Yeah.
How is he doing this? I don't know what you've seen for reps. Obviously, I'm up here in Canada. I was not in training camp.
Right.
I've seen Sheduer Sanders at the goal line for most of it, so I probably missed the long ball that you were talking about. I do 100% understand what Nathan Zagura means, that he has elite ball placement. So I think part of the problem when he was at Colorado was that he couldn't step into his throws. And so clearly when he's doing 7-on-7, which I feel like I'm reading that was most of the stuff that he did, 7-on-7s, he can step into every single throw. He had 2 throws for touchdowns of the 3 that he had, 1 in each corner. The placement was fantastic. It was unbelievable, right? As far as where the other guys were on the field and what they were doing, I don't know, because again, aside from Jerry Jeudy, if you scroll through X right now, you're going to see a ton of Sanders highlights. Flacco, though, his deep ball looks good. So what I'm hoping, and you now mentioned the Sanders deep ball, I think I've seen a concerted effort to push the ball down the field, which is something that we should be seeing from a Tommy Rees inspired offense, because that's what he does. So I was happy to see that kind of stuff. But as far as like saying like Sanders should be like the starter or any of this second day OTA garbage, they're not even there, guys. Like it's just take it for what it's worth. But it was nice to see only 1 interception. And it was nice to see that the ball's not hitting the ground very much. So it means the receivers, it means the quarterbacks, they're on the same page.
And the other thing that I thought was interesting too, and like I think that this is the kind of stuff that we should be looking to take away from this. I saw it on a couple different places, but they said just mechanically, at least Sanders looked like he had improved some things over the last month. Which that's exactly what I'm not looking for starter depth chart shit. I want to see who's progressing, who's getting better, who can be the future. If Sheduer Sanders is our future quarterback, I'm absolutely stoked, especially the fact that we got him in the 5th round. I'm absolutely losing my mind, especially we have a $80 million hit on Deshaun Watson next year on dead cap, if you know what I mean. So like this is exactly what we need if we want to actually not be a shithole for the next 5 years. Go ahead, brother.
I'm glad you mentioned, the improvement based on the mechanics and things. Because who said it? Do you remember? Was it Nathan Zagura?
It was either Nate or I want to say maybe Zach Jackson on. Okay. He was on USS or Ultimate Cleveland.
Well,
right?
the thing is
one of those guys.
I doubt it was Zach Jackson, because he's been like Sheduer's the QB1 perfect quarterback no matter what ever since the beginning. So I doubt he would even mention improvement, because there's nothing to improve if you talk to Zach Jackson. But there's no denying there were some videos from Sheduer in rookie minicamp where the ball came out and it was just a wobbly duck and it looked terrible. And they said, whoever I was reading, I forget who it was. I wish I wrote it down. They said noticeably, like you mentioned, fix his mechanics, change some things up, tighter spiral. And he didn't. I saw no videos where there was the wobbly duck anymore. Everything did look a lot more pinpoint on the spiral and everything from Sheduer, and that stuff does matter. Grossi said Dylan's ball in minicamp was noticeably tighter spiral and just better than Sheduer's, but the second round here in OTAs, the first thing of OTAs, Sheduer definitely looked better. So yes, I want to see these guys improving. They're rookies. They're coming out of college. I mean, nobody's even close to a finished product or ready. So just to see the improvement is good.
That's what they're supposed to do, right? So, I mean, that's what you want to see. And you want to see, like, if you don't know who they're competing against, but say if Sanders is the 4th and he's 7-9 for 3 and it's at red zone rope, that's what you want to see. You want to see him dominate that competition. So maybe they move him up to the next level. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just think that it's very, very early. The thing that's frustrating about the situation, too, is as far as with the quarterbacks is you're getting a lot of Sanders, which we want that, right? We want to see Sanders highlights. We want to see, what's he doing, but I'm not really seeing anything from anybody else. You know what I mean? Like until they open the thing up and we actually get to go up there and see these guys do their thing, it's going to be tough to really get a fair evaluation of any of the quarterbacks.
For real.
I mean, aside from the quarterbacks, I want to see is our secondary any good? Like we're revamping our safeties. We're really revamping our defensive tackles. Defensive tackle is what makes the wide 9 go for Schwartz. How's Mason Graham? We signed him, thank God. Yay. Yeah. So is he going to be the next big tackle for Schwartz. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and Justin said it right earlier. I mean, the reports from these guys at camp about the quarterbacks, man, this stuff is all over the place. I mean,
yes,
it's like
no consistency.
No
consistency.
None. And what really pisses me off about it is nobody's offering up a whole lot of explanation. Like everyone, the Sheduer supporters will say, well, how come you guys don't talk about Zach Jackson saying Dylan Gabriel doesn't look like an NFL quarterback? Because he didn't say why. He didn't explain it. I mean, that's okay, fine. He said it.
If it's size, I mean that. Okay.
Okay, sure. He's not 6'5".
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are other 5'11", 5'10" guys playing quarterback in the NFL. I'm not concerned right now about the height. I want to know about the play on the field. If it's the play on the field, tell me that and tell me what it is about the play that makes him not look like an NFL quarterback.
I want to see guys take drops, go through their evaluations, read the defense, read their, what their 3 reads or however many reads they get through and make a decision and fire. That's it. Because we haven't seen that in a year and a half.
Okay, year and a half. We have seen it. The last time we saw it, it was the guy that after this 1 year or week of OTAs, I'm with Justin. Week 1, if I had to put money on a guy right now, it's Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco starting this season, and this is where I want to kind of talk about this quarterback hierarchy and how the depth chart plays out heading into the season. I know we're super early and there's all summer to go. But originally, I've been telling people like, hey, they did keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster last year. So what's preventing them from doing it again this year? And the more now that I've thought about it and watched and listened and really put some time into this whole quarterback situation, I tend to agree with people who say there's no way they're keeping all 4 of these guys because the situation is different. Last year, I mean, you're keeping guys like Tyler Huntley and DTR. I mean, these guys aren't pushing for a starter spot in any way, shape, or form. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. This year, all 4 of these guys will be pushing for the starter position. I don't think you can keep all 4 of them. And I know Blake's not on this episode, and he would probably vehemently disagree with me. But I think Kenny Pickett's the odd man out here.
It's so I'll say it with this. It is May. Who knows what happens? I would probably say if they are okay with just running Flacco out for as long as they can, I think that it's just going to come down to whether we believe it or not. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, they're not going to just want to go out there and put 3 wins on the table and just roll into next year hoping that everything's cool. I think that they're trying to win. If you don't want your professional team to win, I don't get it.
Right.
I don't understand what we're doing. I don't want that next year pick to be the number 1 overall. You know what I mean? In May of the previous year. That's so silly to me. But I think that they're going to keep the 2 rookies because financially it makes sense. And then I think you dangle the other guy. Whoever doesn't win from what I hear, they're running 2 basically 11-on-11s, and you have Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett basically competing for the starting spot. And then you have Sheduer and Gabriel kind of, getting the rookie reps on this other field. I think whoever wins that starting gig, I think that next guy is probably going to be dangled out there, depending on injuries. And you have, you got teams out there that could use a backup quarterback or a fill-in.
Yeah.
I think one of those guys gets dangled and probably traded away.
So
I think Kenny's the front runner right now. And I think it's his job to lose. And I don't think Flacco's going to make it easy for him. Either way, these aren't going to start. I don't think so. How many times have you heard about the Browns schedule and the gauntlet that starts it? You're not going to put a Sheduer, you're not going to put a Dylan Gabriel out there to, not win. It doesn't make any sense. Get a veteran in there to steady the ship for those first 2. And somehow, if you can go 3-3 in that gauntlet, then you found something, right? I just don't know about Flacco, and they're looking for they should be looking for long-term success. I don't know if that's going to be with Flacco. There must be something they see in him. And it was kind of reiterated through a comment from Terry Bradshaw, where Terry was saying something along the lines of, Pittsburgh Steelers failed Kenny Pickett. They didn't give him a run game. They didn't give him an offensive line. The receiver core dropped, like they cut Deontay Johnson, never really replaced him. And there must be something that they see in this kid that he can run the offense that Stefanski's been so successful with, because they're doubling down on this offense and it's going to be predicated on the running game, right? And they're thinking that he can manage that somehow with his high athletic ability, and we'll see.
So walk with me on this, and you guys tell me if you think I'm crazy or if there's some validity to this. So I'll tell you why I think that Kenny Pickett, and I'm kind of calling my shot here early in May, or I guess when this comes out, June 1st, why Kenny Pickett's the odd man out. So I think he's the odd man out because he's the one the Browns are hyping up. And I've seen some of the speculation online, and I'm thinking, I think there's something to this. They hyped the living crap out of Travis Hunter just to drive. And it's not
just like to the point where we even were like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
it almost became too much hype where we're like, something's going on.
Yeah, like they're oozing over this guy a little too much. This isn't normal for this regime.
I just remember texting and going, they're really, really hyping him up. What's going on?
And they're doing the same thing with Kenny Pickett, okay? So I know, like Kenny's talking about, they're looking for longevity at the position. I would argue that the future is definitely not Joe Flacco, but it's also definitely not Kenny Pickett, because, and Blake likes to point to the Sam Darnold year last year. And a lot of fans do. I'm not just picking on Blake. I mean, and it's a legitimate comparison. I mean, Sam Darnold goes to a good offense, good offensive coach, and has a resurgent, I mean, not even just a resurgent year, like career year, got himself a big bag of money, but even throwing for 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns, leading the Vikings to the playoffs, did not get him an extension with that team. They had a younger guy on a rookie contract that they were going to move forward with. Now, we don't have the 10th overall pick on our roster. I get that at quarterback. But and I don't think Kenny Pickett goes out and has anywhere near that kind of year, because, I mean, his career high for a single season is 7 touchdowns. I don't think he's getting 35. So say he goes out and he throws 25 touchdowns and like 3,600 yards, and the Browns win, 8, 9, maybe even 10 games. He's the full-year starter. Are we really giving him a 3-year extension next year whenever he just proved that he can be an NFL starter, lead your team to the playoffs? Are we giving him a bigger contract that he's going to demand something on the market, right? Right. Just like Sam Darnold did. Are we doing that? Are we really going to pay this guy when we've got these 2 rookies? We've got these 2 first-round picks. I just don't see a future where Kenny Pickett is the quarterback for the Browns.
And this comes back to salary cap, and I feel like the salary cap is just a weird monster. Because like every year I go, we don't have any damn money. How are we going to get any contracts done? We have no money. We're negative $60 million already, and we haven't even signed anybody. And then it all kind of works out. I think it's a great point. And I think even like for Darnold, I have a feeling he's going to come back to earth pretty hard this upcoming year. Bad offensive line. So you were playing with Justin Jefferson and like
Kevin O'Connell.
They're a ridiculously well-rounded roster as far as like offensive, defensively. Like they don't have like really any holes.
The Vikings,
like in Minnesota, in Minnesota. So I'm saying like I don't think you can expect that from Kenny Pickett, because we have Judy, but we don't have Justin Jefferson and an Addison, and the list goes on. I think they're very set skill wise. I don't think we can afford to like throw a 3-year, $80 million contract at Kenny.
Well, let's put it this way real quick. We didn't want to pay.
What would the numbers even be?
We didn't want to extend Baker. And those were Baker numbers, 25 touchdowns, 3,700 yards. And we didn't want him as our long-term answer. So why would this same regime want Kenny Pickett?
Right.
If
it's not a rebuild either, I don't know.
I like your take. Like I think I'm going to stick with Pickett, but I like your take. I think it's great. The one thing is I did notice a little bit extra on like plugging him. I totally get that. The biggest thing that I took away about Joe Flacco though, and him starting off the season, maybe handing it to one of the rookies, is the way that Joe Thomas on this program was speaking about how the veterans were so comfortable that Joe Flacco was in the locker room. And it's nothing against Kenny Pickett. It's just the way he was talking about Joe Flacco. It seems like there's a relief to the veterans and they want to play for Flacco, which they did and would be reminiscent of the end of the 2023 season. That's what makes me think that you could possibly be right with that as well. The other thing is is that we're only through OTAs. Anything could happen, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's May. It's legitimately May, and we're talking about
Yeah.
the quarterback depth chart.
Yeah.
For,
that's the topic of, interest for a lot of people.
Yes,
And like I said, I'm kind of just calling my shot here thinking,
yes.
I want to see, I want to put it out there and I want to see if I'm right. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just want the best quarterback for this team. Like Justin said, I'm not looking to tank and get the number 1 overall pick before the season has even started. This team, I don't see any reason why this team can't at least be competitive and be a 500 ball club, because the last time we had, and the thing is, we had Joe Flacco, we had no offensive line with him. We had practice squad tackles. It was pathetic. We had no run game. Our defense was decimated, and we were still winning games. Now, if Joe Flacco starts the season with a healthy defense, healthy offensive line, 2 young stud running backs, we're getting back to the run game, Jerry Jeudy, why can't we come out here and go 500 before the bye week at minimum?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
And
I think they're going to be 8-9 or 9-8, like somewhere around there. They'll win some games with that defense and the running. That's what they want to do, and just minimize those turnovers.
And Joe Flacco has not played a full season since 2017, his last year with the Ravens. It's not going to happen. So if you start him, you're going to get your opportunity at some point, whether it's injury or we lose a stretch of games, whatever. You're going to get your opportunity to see what at least one of the rookies have. But I think if you've got 2 of these veterans on the roster, both Flacco and Pickett, it's going to be very difficult to make an argument to get one of those guys on the field whenever you could just go to the next veteran who you prioritize throughout this process anyway. So they got to get rid of one of them, I think.
Great.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, cool. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Glad I convinced you guys. No.
I think there is something to it. One of those guys is gonna, I think, and Kenny's definitely the more tantalizing target. You're talking about what, 24, 25-year-old,
26,
young,
I think. Yeah.
26,
Yeah, he's 20.
young. You know what I mean? Flacco. It's gonna be hard to trade a 40-year-old quarterback.
And with Pickett, I mean, heck, Andrew Berry got a 5th round pick for Josh Dobbs, who was not in contention to be the starter, who was just a backup. So I think that he can at least return on his investment. The thing is, and another thing that I was thinking, when they traded for Pickett, that was it, man. We had no other quarterbacks on the roster. So you had to go out and get some sort of safe, last resort contingency plan in case your whole offseason doesn't go the way you want it to. Then they signed Joe Flacco, and then the draft comes. It's like, holy crap, we did not expect to come out with 2, quarterbacks, and these quarterbacks. It's not like we came out with a guy that nobody was talking, like 2 very productive college quarterbacks who are close to NFL ready just because of their experience. The quarterback room's completely different than it was when we traded for Pickett. So it's just a whole different world now than it was before.